Hey there, my name's Crypto. Today we're going to be building a castle themed house. Before we start, these are all the materials that you'll need to build along with me. Also for texturing, I recommend mixing in some cobblestone, andesite, and stone into the walls to add some variety. And this is the layout that we'll be using for this build. To start, we're going to be making a tower on the left hand side here, where this blue square is, and we're going to bring it up a total of 10 blocks tall. And we're going to bring it up to that same height for that whole 3x3 area. The lines marked out in orange, we're going to build up a total of 6 blocks tall. Again, using stone bricks. I have the layout in the top right of the screen right now if you need to reference it. Last but not least, there's this tower marked out in green on the right hand side, which we're going to build up a total of 9 blocks tall. Once complete, we can start adding some sweet details. First of which is this tower on the left hand side. We're going to be building the top of it. So we're just placing some stairs on either side with some fences underneath and a slab and a stair in between. And then we're going to do that exact same design on the other 3 sides. And for this tower, I decided to use both dark oak and spruce to make a really cool design, which is a lot more interesting than just using completely dark oak or completely spruce. So I'm really excited for you guys to see how it gets built up here. We're just about done with that 4th side though, so we're going to be able to start building this a little bit higher. So we're going to grab some stripped spruce wood and make a bit of a plus shape, 2 blocks tall there. Then we're going to grab some stairs and just place them facing inwards. And then on top of these logs, we're going to place some more stairs facing inwards, but this time using some dark oak ones. And then on top in the middle here, we're going to place basically 4 slabs or 2 regular blocks of dark oak, and then a wall on top with a fence on top of that for a really nice peak. For a bit more detail, we can make use of some trapdoors, which just add a few pixels of depth, I think like 2 or 3 pixels, but really that's all it takes to make a build look so much more detailed. Of course, if you want to go for that resource-friendly route, you could always just exclude these trapdoors and save yourself on some materials, but I think it's worth the time to collect a bit more resources and have these awesome details. Lastly, we're just going to add a bit of a window that's 3 blocks tall, and the top of it should be 1 block below those fences. Next, we're going to move to the front of the house and place a wall, 3 leaves, a wall, 3 leaves, and a wall. And then on top of the walls, we're going to add 3 fences. In between the fences, we can place some gates, which should connect up just like so. And then on top of these fences, we're just going to place a full block. And then in between those full blocks, add some slabs. On top of the full blocks, place a barrel. And then in between the barrels, we're going to place some lecterns, which are backwards. On this middle barrel, we're going to place 2 logs, and then on top of the lecterns, just add a row of glass blocks, and then 1 block in the middle there up against the log. And then we're just going to do that on either side. For some more windows, just punch out a couple blocks here, and replace them with some panes, and the same thing on the other side. And then to make some shutters, we can just use some oak trapdoors, which I think look super sweet. And then we can move on the left side of the house here, kind of behind this tower, and punch out another hole that's 3 blocks wide and 2 blocks tall, and then just replace those with some panes again. And then up above this window, we're going to add some campfires, and then just extinguish them using a shovel or some water or whatever you've got. And then we can add some more shutters on either side, 2 there, 2 on the other side, and we have this really nice big window design. We're going to copy the exact same design that we have at the front of the house on the back here. So again, we're doing a wall, 3 leaves, a wall, 3 leaves, and a wall. And I'm not going to really narrate this whole thing again since I just showed you guys how to build it and you can just kind of follow along. Instead, I thought I'd use this time to ask you, what tutorials or builds do you guys want to see on this channel? I'm really excited to hear your ideas. I really love building things that you guys want to see. I think it's a lot of fun. And often your ideas will be things that I haven't thought of before, so it's really exciting to kind of get some new ideas and inspiration for some really awesome builds. So be sure to comment your ideas, and I will definitely give you a shout out if I choose that idea and build it in a video. And just one little note about what I'm doing here, guys. I wanted to say that all these details that I'm building, I'm making 1 block in front of the main walls, and that's just adding some depth and extra detail to the build. But next, guys, let's start on the roof here, and we're just going to build this up using some spruce slabs. And we're basically just going to follow this kind of shape that we already have for the house. So we're just going up by 1 block, a little bit of a staircase there until we reach the middle. And then we're going to head on over to the other side and do the exact same thing, just kind of going the other way until it meets up at the middle there. So the peak should be looking just like this. Then we can follow that peak and just bring it to the back side here, and it should be right in the center on the back design there, just like that. And then we can connect this over into the tower. So we're just gonna bring that across and then add one more layer of slabs, and then just start doing that staircase design again up to the middle until you hit the center, just like so. And then we're gonna do the exact same thing on the other side, again connecting it into the big tower, and another row of slabs, and then again just staircase up until you reach the middle. And once you do, everything should be all connected up now, and you have this really nice roof trim. And then we can fill in the center of our roof just using some dark oak slabs. And something that I love doing in almost all of my builds is using a different color for the inside of the roof than I use for the trim. It adds just a really nice contrast of color and helps make the roof look kind of less flat, less boring, less uniform. But of course, that's just kind of my personal preference, and it depends on the build, of course. There's certain styles or types of builds where you probably would want the entire roof to just be one solid color. But for this build, I felt like two colors worked really nice. And I also love how it matches the tower that we have on the left side of the house. It really adds a nice coherence to the build. It makes it all look kind of more uniform. Having kind of a color palette for a build really helps make it look more well put together. For this build, we kind of have the stones along with spruce and dark oak, which is a really nice color palette that I use a lot. Next, we're going to add the entrance to our house. So we're going to punch out 3 blocks wide and 4 blocks tall, and then place some stairs in the corners with a slab in between. And then behind those stairs, we're going to add a wall of trapdoors. And then we can just flip these all up, and it should be 4 blocks high of trapdoors. And then in the middle here, we can just punch out 2 blocks and then add our actual door that we can get into, and it creates this really nice doorway design. Above the entrance, we're going to add a bit of an overhang using some campfires. So we're just going to extinguish these all using a shovel. You could use water as well. And then we're going to add a support beam. So we're going to place a wall, and then on top of the wall, we're just going to keep adding fences until we connect up to that campfire. And then coming off of that top fence, we're just going to add 3 gates until we connect up to the roof. Starting on the main big tower of this build, we're going to add 3 stairs with polished andesite on top and upside down stairs in between. And then on top, we're just going to add 3 slabs with trapdoors in between. And then on the polished andesite, we can add some buttons for some nice detail. And then we can copy that same design on the other 3 sides. I thought it was super fun adding this castle-inspired tower onto this house. Something that I don't often do, but it was a lot of fun, and something that I definitely want to try more in the future. It's kind of where I actually got the idea to call this a castle house. Even though that's not a real thing, I thought it was fun and kind of a neat idea. So hopefully you guys like it. I had a lot of fun making it. And we're just about finished here doing this last side. It's pretty convenient having the same design for all the sides. Definitely makes building this a lot faster, since kind of once you've done it once or twice, you can easily just whip out the other sides pretty quickly. So something I like to do in my builds if I want to build them fast. And then we're just going to fill in that center area using some polished andesite. And then in all of these corners, we're going to add 4 high pillars. And this is what we're going to build the roof on top of. So coming off of this side, we're going to add some stairs, and then just add a nice little kind of staircase going to the center. It's basically the same design that we used for the main part of the house, but this time we're using stairs instead of slabs. And I could have used slabs for this again, but I thought it would be fun to kind of switch it up, add some more interest to the build by doing this different kind of roof line. Also, instead of making the trim spruce again, this time I'm using dark oak for the trim, and then I'm going to use spruce for the inside. It's kind of a neat way to add some variety without introducing any new blocks to our color palette. It's the exact same blocks and materials that we've been using before, but just switching the order of the trim and the inside just adds a bit more detail and variety to the build without adding any other types of blocks, so it's kind of a neat trick and something that I definitely want to do more in the future. We're just about done with this tiny roof though, just gotta fill in this other side, and then we're gonna hop on down into the inside of this little roof to add some details and polish it up a little bit. So at this front, we're gonna add an upside down stair on either corner, and then we kind of have to go up into this area and place 2 logs in the middle and 1 log on either side. And then in between the stairs, add a trapdoor, and then 3 trapdoors on either side here. So it should be creating this little archway design. And then we're gonna do the exact same thing on the back side. So we're gonna place 2 logs in the center and then 1 log on either side. and then a stair in the corners, trapdoor in between, and then 3 trapdoors on either side, again creating that nice archway design. We can hop on inside, and in this middle area we're going to add some upside down stairs to smooth it out, and then in the middle we can add 3 logs, and that finishes up this little roof design. Next we're going to add the chimney. To find where it goes, line yourself up with the back side of this tower, and then 1 block before the trim, that's where it's going to go. So we're going to add 2 blocks there and 4 blocks kind of diagonal to that. And then on top we're going to add a campfire and trapdoors on all sides, and we can just flip those up. And then we're going to add a campfire on the other one and some trapdoors on all sides. For a really nice detail, we're going to add a wall on both of the campfires, and then on top of the walls we're going to add a lightning rod, and then on top of the rod we're going to add a flower pot, which creates this super unique and fun design. Lastly, we're just going to add a bit of life and nature to our build. So where this entrance is, we're going to add some dirt since it would be a little bit worn out there. Then we can add a fern and a bit of grass, and then we're just going to mix in some brown concrete powder to break up that repeating texture of the dirt. And we can also add a little bit of moss for some more greenery. We can add some more coarse dirt on this other side, but to add a bit of interest and change it up a little bit, I'm going to make it look like this is where they store their wood for using inside, and using some campfires makes it look like some smaller logs, which is a really fun detail. And I'm also just going to add some brown concrete again and a fern, just to kind of all blend it together. We can add more greenery around the entirety of the house. I know I'm in a flat world, so this doesn't really make sense to do, but I thought it was still fun to add, and I'm assuming most of you guys will be building this in a normal world, and adding this greenery around the house is going to help blend the building into the natural environment around it, which I think is a really nice touch and makes the building look more like it belongs and like it's been there for a while. With those details, the build is complete. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, be sure to give it a like, as it really helps out my channel. But thank you guys so much for watching, and happy building.